Hey y'all, welcome to another episode of The Life of Hair DNA. And on this episode, we're going to be talking about a greater life. Yes, a greater life. Last week we talked about stuckness. This week we're talking about a greater life. I hope and pray that all of you, if you were like me in a rut or in a stuckness, I hope that you were able to get out of that. And if not, I hope that this video motivates you to get out of it. Because basically you have two choices. You can either choose to stay there in the stuckness and let life continue, which we all know is going to do regardless, or you can decide the time is now. The time is now that you want a greater life. So, you know I love my key points and I love like stuff I can point to help guide, you in the right direction, but also keep me going into the right direction. So, one, like I said, the time is now. Why not want a better life for yourself right now instead of waiting years to get it? Stop procrastinating. Remember, we create our own reality. We create our own reality. So you don't like how your life is, you do have the ability to change it. Number two, life has so much to offer us. And for me, I want to experience it. I can't remember what motivational speaker or was I listening to. I don't know. I told you I do a lot of Steve Harvey. I don't know if it was Steve Harvey or who it was, but they did a reference to the prayer, the Lord's Prayer that basically says, Our Father which art in heaven, hallowed be thy name, thy kingdom come, thy will be done on earth as it is in heaven. So that, I never thought about it. I always knew the Lord's Prayer, but that for me was like, hold on. You told me that. You said that I could have on earth as it is in heaven. So I know a lot of times people, they think that, and they let their life pass by because they think they can only get heaven when they die. And that's not true. You can have heaven on earth. And for me, that's what I'm aiming for. I want to be happy in this life. So that goes into having a greater life as well. Believing that you can have it on earth what is in heaven. You got to believe that. Believe it. All right. Well, my point number 3 is that it really ties into number 2. You just got to believe the promise. If you don't believe it and it's some type of doubt in your mind, or, we human, so we're going to doubt. But deep in your heart, as long as you believe it, it can happen. It can happen. And you know who I'm going to use for this example is Steve Harvey. I don't know if you're familiar with his story, but I listen to him so much. I heard the story so much. But back when Steve Harvey was in school, he wrote on a piece of paper that he wanted to be on TV. He didn't know how he was going to be on TV, what was going to happen, what he was going to do to be on TV, but he wrote that down. Once he wrote that down, people laughed at him. His teacher called his mom. It was like he was in trouble for dreaming, right? He had a lot of ups and downs. I know he was homeless for a minute. His story is just so amazing. But basically, I used that story briefly just to say he didn't get it right then. I believe he might have been in elementary school when he wrote that. Steve Harvey, he didn't get on TV until he was 40-something. But he believed that it was going to happen. So, number 3, believe, believe, believe. Number 4, I would start writing down my goals. I always tell y'all that I'm telling you this, but this is what I'm living in right now. So I write down my goals and I put a time frame on it. Now, sometimes do you not meet the time frame? Sometimes you don't, but you can still feel how close you are, and that's, for me, that makes me feel good. To know that, okay, I might ain't get this at this date, but I can feel it coming. So obviously, if I'm not getting it, it's just not time, and I still have to believe that everything is on the way. Right, lastly, number 5. Number 5 is accept the challenge. You can't be halfway in, halfway out if you want to live the greater life. you have to be completely in, and just remember that so much is given, much is required. So knowing that for me, it let me know, Ashley, it's not going to be easy. Yes, it's going to be a fight. But if you believe it, keep working at it, you're going to be fine. You're going to be fine. But y'all, I just thank God so much that I'm not in a rut right now. I'm not stuck. I pray that I never go there again. But it's life. We humans, you know, if it does happen, hopefully it's just easier for me to switch back on. And yeah, I'm just happy right now. But let's go back and recap everything as far as a greater life. And if y'all have any tips, or if y'all have anything that y'all do, drop it in the comments below, because I'm one of the people, I like to hear other people's techniques, because your techniques may help me get out of something. Get out of something that I may be going through. Just like I hope that what I'm doing is helping others. Okay, so on today's recap of trying to strive for a better life, before everything, just remember the time is now. The time is now. You create your own reality. Believe you can have heaven on earth. Believe in the promises. Write your goals down. Set a timeline. And lastly, accept the challenge. Yes, it may be a challenge, but you will get through it. You cannot judge your today on your tomorrow, because sometimes we don't know when it's going to happen, but that greater life you want is on the way. Believe that. Right. So some of the things that I would suggest you to do when working towards getting a greater, making your life better, or getting that greater life that you want, is get books. Get books that relate to your situation. Or, you know, like, books are, get something with some knowledge. Period. Like, you know, if you need motivation, or if you still have that self-doubt book, they have self-doubt books. They help you trying to retrain your thinking. I know a big one for me and the girls at the salon, we read like right after COVID was, or during or something, I remember though, Outwitting the Devil. Outwitting the Devil was very enlightening for me. It just touched on so many things, and it touched on how stuff in this world is basically set up for us to believe that we can't have a greater life. Can y'all believe that? That's what they really do. They set us up to, and who is they? I'm just going to say the world. They basically set us up to not believe we can have a greater life. You don't have to per se read that book, but that's a book that I can give an example that has helped me in my life. Do some self-development stuff. That's what I'm working on right now. I'm in a class every Tuesday to retrain my thinking, because, you know, sometimes there's past traumas that didn't happen and we don't realize that, or we may have just been taught wrong. And that's no offense to anybody, because remember, our parents can only teach us what they knew. So, you know, sometimes you just got to retrain your mind. A lot of times it's all about retraining your mind. But that's what my self-development class is helping me with. It's just helping me to not only help me with retraining my mind, but it's also helping me with communication skills, why certain feelings come about when certain stuff happen, emotional triggers. It's helping me with a lot. And people sometimes they don't want to do that type of work, because that work is hard. Self-work is hard work, but it's preparing you for that greater life. So books, self-development, very important. You can also research other things that may help you, may help you along your journey. So yeah, books, research on other things that may help you in your situation. Also, make small changes in your life. We kind of touched on that last episode as well. It's about your routine. But make small changes that's going to make your life greater. You know, for me, yeah, I've been lacking on cleaning my house. And no, I'm not nasty. It's just something about you living by yourself. You feel like you can have clothes everywhere. No. I know that also puts me in a funky space. So this week, what I decided, you're going to at least clean your house 1 to 2 times a week. You want to know why I'm doing it? It ain't for nobody else. It's for me. It makes me feel better. So yeah, just change little things in your routine. That's something, and things that basically gonna make you feel better. So I don't know if y'all be on TikTok and stuff or social media period, but they got this thing like that girl, right? Oh, she's that girl. So I basically saw one of the content creators, they said that even if you're not that girl, start acting like you are that girl and do things that make you feel like you are that girl. So yeah, cleaning my house, lighting my candles, it makes me feel like that girl. And for me, that's going towards a greater life. All right, lastly, is to believe. I'm sorry, I know I'm stressing that so much, but believe it. Believe that your greater life is on the way, because it is. It is. It gives you something to look forward to. It gives you you basically living in expectancy. Living in expectancy doesn't mean that you're going to receive it tomorrow, but it means that your heart is open up enough to receive for the stuff you're asking for. So let's recap. These are the little things that kind of put you on track or guide you in the direction of receiving a greater life. Or I'm trying to figure out what I'm called this. But it's basically tips on how to make your transition into a better life easier. So we said you can get books that relate to your situation. You can research things, other things that may help you along your way. You can start doing the things you want to do to make yourself have a greater life. You can, well, we know you need to believe and just know it's on the way. It's on the way. But yeah, this was just what was on my heart this week. I try to share with y'all what's on my heart. You know, like I said last week, I was stuck. I literally had to climb up out that hole, but I'm out now and I feel better. And this week, what was on my mind, getting a greater life, because I know a greater life is on its way to me, no matter how many ups and downs I may have. It's just stuff that's going to make me better and stuff that's going to make my story better. And hopefully it's stuff that will also inspire others. I just see this YouTube channel growing so big, and I can't wait until I'm looking at these videos, because for me, this is my documentation on me of how I'm growing, you know. And, you know, like I always say, I want us to learn, grow, advance, and get this money together. Because it's so much out here. It's so much out here. So many great things on the way. And we just have to believe it. I hope this helped you today. And I will see you guys next week on another episode of The Life of Hair DNA.